Good morning. This is the Jewish Displaced Persons Camp Study, and your name is?
Edith Poliszlik.
I'm going to ask you first about your experiences during liberation and then the months and years after that. Can you give me your date of birth?
March 1st, 1929.
And the city of your birth and the country?
Ostrog, Poland. It was the town on the Russian border.
Okay. And can you tell me a little bit about your family, the number of sisters or brothers you had?
Yes, I have two sisters, and my parents, we survived together. We were hidden. We were hidden for 16 months. We were actually buried. We did not leave the ditch. It has a name, but I don't remember. You see, we were brought to those people after our town was, they called it Judenrein. They killed everybody in the ghetto.
Okay. Now, so you were with your parents and
My two sisters.
Okay. Your family. This was what year?
It was in 1942
that you were
that we were in the ghetto.
And when were you liberated?
We were liberated in 1944.
And
in February by the Russians.
Okay. Now, you were liberated in what town? Same town as you were born in?
It was on the outskirts. We were still in the ditch when the Russians came back, and the people were very considerate, the ones that kept us. They didn't take us out for a few days. They wouldn't bring us into town because they must have heard there are things going on between the Poles and the Russians, shooting, and they were killing Jews that they found a few days after the liberation, on the 6th of February 1944. They opened up the ditch we were buried in.
Can you remember when they opened up the ditch?
Yes.
What you felt?
What we felt?
What you felt when you were told you were free?
Well, I don't think you can express it, because we were there 16 months in our nightgowns that were stiff. Our heads were shaved. Our father shaved our heads. We must have been emaciated because, thanks to the people that kept us, they brought us every night, once every 24 hours, a pot of potatoes.
Okay, but I want you to focus on my question.
Yes.
What I want to know is, when they opened when you were free.
Yes, and we knew for a few days. We knew already for maybe a week. We knew that the Russians are closing in, and that the Germans are backing out, and the day the Russians came in, well, I guess we didn't feel anything already.
But you're talking we.
We, my family. The way I felt.
Can you tell me what you felt?
I was 14 years old, and I guess I was happy. I can't explain.
It's okay.
I can just say when they opened up that ditch and they pulled us out, we fell on the snow. It was February. I guess and I don't remember a thing. They put us on a wagon They took us into town. That I know. But I don't remember, I have such a void. Where they took us, oh, I remember.
What is your, so if you have a void, what is your next memory?
My next memory is being in a doctor's house.
Okay.
And I was told that they are trying to get us used to eating food.
Okay.
It must have been very. I regret one thing, that there was no picture taken, what we looked like.
Okay.
Anyway,
Now, in the period of time, once you were liberated, to the best of your memory, can you ever remember, as we sit here today,
yeah.
knowing or feeling or understanding that you were a free person? And if you remember that, when did it happen? I don't care if it was a year later. I'm saying from the time you were...
From the time we were liberated, as far as I'm concerned, I felt freedom when I came to this country 5 years later.
So between 1944 and 1949, you didn't feel free?
It wasn't a normal, I don't consider it a normal life. I got married in between, I had a child, I
Okay.
was with my parents. We were in the DP camp.
So you didn't feel fully free until you came to this country?
No, because we went from being liberated to the Russians liberated us, and being that we were Polish citizens, they put us on a train, but that was several months later.
We're going to get to your history.
Yeah.
During the were you scared for 5 years?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I wasn't happy. I didn't like it.
Okay.
As a child, I had bad memories of the Russians, because they occupied our territory in 1939 when the war broke out, because the Germans and the Russians split up Poland. They gave we were on the Russian border, and the Russian tanks came in on the day of the war, when the war started. And my parents had a very good business, and they were considered capitalists. And for Russia, it's bad. They came in one morning, we were all in our beds.
What year are you talking about?
That was in 1939.
Okay, so I'm going to take you out of this.
Okay.
Because I want to go back to where
Yeah.
we're
Well,
talking
I'm just trying to tell you this because that's how I felt about the Russians.
So whenever
I
you...
had a bad feeling, because they walked in, they asked for the keys to the store, asked the key to open a cabinet, there was money, whatever there was, they took everything out. They threatened to send us to Siberia, but being that my mother was born in Russia, we lived at the Russian border, and my father was born in Poland, he was in the Polish army in the First World War. So that's where they met, and he took her over to the Polish side.
Okay,
Okay.
we have to try to stay
Yeah.
with 1944 on.
Okay.
What I hear you saying is that Russians, because of your history, made you uncomfortable, and I get that.
Yes.
But I want to stay post 1945.
Okay.
At another point, I'll come back and we'll
Yes.
discuss.
1945.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you some questions.
Yeah.
After you were liberated,
Yes.
at Again, I don't want you to go back and yet and tell me a story.
Yeah.
I'm asking you a specific question.
Yes. Yes.
Was there a point in time
Yeah.
where you stopped thinking about your current circumstance, being that you just told me that you didn't feel free till you got to the United States?
Right. Yes.
Was there a point in time where you mentally knew you wanted? Did you feel that you had a life that you were going to rebuild? Did something? Did you know? Okay, we went through this. Now I have another life. Did a light bulb ever go off in your head
Yeah.
that said?
Well, I didn't. I didn't have the fear that I had when I was buried underground. We did have a life. Our mother was very.
No, you.
Me. Okay. I had what to eat. I had nice clothes. We were put on a train and we were sent into Poland because it was Poland before the war, but the Russians took it away, so they sent all the Polish citizens to Poland from our town.
Where did you arrive in Poland?
Lodge.
Okay, how long did you stay in Lodge?
We stayed in Lodge till almost the end of 45.
So how many months was that? That was 9 months?
Something like that.
And what did you do in Lodge?
I was housekeeping. My mother was doing business. My younger sister went to school for a few months. She never did before, and she was already 10. And we did not want to remain there.
Now, a couple of questions. There was a war still going on. There were concentration camps still.
No, yes, while we were in Lodge.
While you were in Lodge.
The war was still going on.
Were you scared about?
No, we didn't feel it.
And
No.
why was that?
Why? Because we were free. We were in an apartment. It was a flat with several rooms, and every family had a room. Because the Jewish, what did they call it? It's like a family service. That's where they put us. And that's where we stayed. I remember the morning where there was an announcement that the war is over.
How were the Polish non-Jews treating you in Lodge?
We had no problem. We didn't mingle with them. We really had no problem. I mean, we lived in a big house, but nobody bothered us.
About how many Jewish people lived like you or were there that you knew in a similar situation at the time in Lodge?
Time in Lodge, I have no idea.
Did you mingle with any other people?
No, we didn't have anything going on. Just like my mother's cousin survived in the woods and she was in Lodge. As a matter of fact, whoever came, they came to us and then they found an apartment. But we didn't know any, didn't meet.
Did you
Just the people that lived in that flat.
Did you go to any Jewish theater that was existing in Lodge?
No.
Because there was supposedly a Jew.
At that time, no.
So you didn't? Did you do any social life during that 9 months?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So after the war ended, which would have been May 1945.
Yes.
Where did you go?
The end of May, we went to, we wanted to go to, wanted to go to this country. And in order to come to this country, we had to go to Germany.
Okay.
And there were people that was their business. They transported us by truck to the German border, where we had to get out and walk through the border. And we wound up in the American zone in Schlachtensee. That was I guess it was a DP camp, Schlachtensee.
Okay. And was that your first experience in a Jewish DP camp?
Yes. And I was there exactly 1 week. And they opened a DP camp, Eschwege.
Well, one sec. First Schlachtensee. Tell me about that.
Well, we,
How long were you there?
in Schlachtensee, 8 days.
And describe it to me.
I really don't have,
Were there a lot of people?
there were a lot of people, but I was with my parents and my sisters.
And what was it, a barrack, a bunk? How did you sleep?
I really don't remember.
Not much, any,
It was 65 years ago.
okay. How do you know it was a Jewish DP camp? As opposed to...
Well, because the people that took us over the border led us there. I guess they knew.
Okay. And how did you get to the second camp?
While we were there was an announcement that there is a DP camp opening, and they want people, So we went. Actually, my two sisters, no, my younger sister and I. My older sister got married in Lodge in the meantime. She was introduced to him as a man, a survivor. And we went to that camp. And also some people that my parents met during that week and in Berlin that they knew from before the war. They went. So
we'll talk about the camp.
yeah.
So you were there when it opened.
Yes.
So first tell me about the living arrangements there.
Well, we everybody got a room. The Eschwege was an airport, and there were barracks, and that's where we lived. And there was a kitchen that we went for food. We could take out the food. They gave us...
No, we'll do the pictures after.
They gave us utensils. They gave us food. We could eat there. We could take it back to the barrack.
Was there a kitchen in your barrack, or you just had the utensils to eat your food in your barrack?
Well, there was a kitchen. I guess it was one room that was, what kind of stove, I don't remember. There was no oven.
Like a hot plate.
Right. I think it was a hot plate. Because my mother did plenty cooking there. We were there for a long time. My parents came a little while later.
So how many years, you were there in 45 to when?
49.
To 49, so you were there 4 years.
Right.
Okay. Do you have, who organized or who was in charge of the camp? Who ran the camp?
There was the kitchen. There were packages coming from this country. Wait, I have to think. UNRWA.
UNRWA sent food.
Yes, UNRWA. They had clothes like shoes, pants, and things.
Did the survivors organize themselves to run the camp?
Uh, I was young. I didn't really. There were people much older than I, you know, and we had. Well, I remember that there was music coming in. I don't remember whether it was once a week or once a month. Musicians, Germans, and we went to dance.
So was there a dance hall?
Yes, I think it was all in the same building where the kitchen was, and yeah, that was this one big building. I don't remember of any other,
So
but there were a lot of
did you go
barracks
to
there.
dances?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any idea how often?
I don't remember whether it was once a week or once in 2 weeks. The musicians came, and
So the food comes from UNRWA. There's a
Yeah.
central kitchen.
yes,
There's
there
socializing.
was a Hebrew school organized where my sister went, and I was in charge. I had to take care, and I did already when we were still in Poland, because I have to tell you that my mother was not a housekeeper or a housewife. She was a business lady from the day. She must have been my age. So my mother was all business. That's why she remained in Berlin, was doing some business. And she sent me beautiful dresses and all kinds of things.
So
for us.
was your dad with you?
Yes,
But your mother was in Berlin.
yes. And then they came to Eschwege.
Okay. Was there some kind of a synagogue in the camp?
A what?
A synagogue or some way to have services?
And all these years, that's odd that I don't remember.
A rabbi?
Well, there was an old man that supposedly married us, but there was not.
Were
I
there
don't think there was a synagogue. Maybe the old people got together, must have gotten together and prayed.
were there high holiday services like for Rosh Hashanah?
I don't remember.
Passover?
I don't remember having a Seder like we had here in this country.
So you
Yeah,
don't
must have.
you don't remember?
No,
Okay.
I don't remember. I'm sure there was. There
Oh.
was a Hebrew teacher, a survivor,
You remember schools,
and not schools. There
but
was
classes.
a class. Yeah, classes.
Do you remember Ort
Ort?
coming in and doing training?
No, no. I don't remember anybody coming in and doing training.
Trying to teach you different technical jobs?
No, no.
Was anybody in the camp organizing any kind of employment? The survivors among themselves?
No.
Did you, so you don't remember the men organizing
Well,
anything?
by the way, there was. Because we brought along from Russia a young boy that came that survived by himself. And the man that used him, that didn't wasn't supposed to know that he's Jewish, but he probably did, and he slept in his barn, and he was attending his cows or whatever. Brought him into our town to see some Jews, to give him some soap, some clothes, and my mother asked him to stay, and he came. That I remember, because when my mother asked him to stay, he said no. He was afraid. He went back, but then my mother told
Well,
him
this is a non-Jewish boy.
a Jewish boy that survived.
Oh, okay.
And my mother told him that the Jewish holidays are coming up, and if he would like to come, because we're going to have services in our house, and we did.
Now, wait a minute. You said you don't remember services.
That's not in the DP camp.
No. Wait. Don't.
Yes.
Let's not jump.
Okay. That
I
was
only-
in 1944.
Okay. I only want to talk.
I knew it.
Oh,
It never rings.